But what won't you buy? A yacht?
Huh?
Nah, a house. A house would be decent, but even that is not affordable. That's so crazy. These boomers were like, yo, I don't have a boat, dude. And we like, yo, I don't have a place to sleep.
Brutal.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
In
sleep.
this case,
We're
but
all
yeah.
gonna have to. We're all gonna have to live with our parents.
My parents own nothing.
My parents own nothing either.
And they pay the rent like good wages.
Actually, they own a business. Pays well.
Yeah, so there is something.
They make decent money.
Yeah, so they have something.
Yeah, but it's still not a lot. I mean, my parents together make $250,000 a year. Hello?
We are here,
Yeah.
we are live. Yeah.
Are you live already?
Yeah.
Gulag stream or what? At 3 a.m.
How do you know it's Gulags to you?
Nightly cope.
Oh yeah. Just a random rant,
Yeah.
because we are in the mood, right? If you are old cell, it's very rare to have energy anymore. Just observing this new update. It's very detailed, oh my god, nice. So how's
Or
the
you grow up
wagey?
in the hood and become a G. Kill
How's the
people for
wagey,
money.
Cyber? Do you have any offenders in that mall? Cyberdino, you have any offenders on your wagey?
He
I think
said,
he's
I think it's
left
happened
it.
sometimes. Yeah, he is. New York Emily Rock. I myself from the arm.
Nightly cope. What the fuck does that even mean? What is a cope?
So cool. That's
Waiting for that airplane. Jeez. Oh no.
94, 93, 96, 94. Okay.
Oh, this might be a glitch. You kidding me? Okay. What? I'm gonna blast him. Get out.
Быть наготове. Так, собрались.
Where is he? Okay, I see you, but he don't see me. Is he glitched? Whoa, 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 whoa! But he's knifing me. What the fuck?
Смотреть в оба.
The fuck was this shit? What the fuck was this shit? Kind of damage. Hey, Bukanka in the house.
Never going in this game.
Yeah. Let me know who is in the house. 2 people have joined. It's me and RTX and Cyberdino. Boom.
How was work, RTX?
I'm free for 4 days.
4 days? Full days?
Yep. I was chilling.
Great. Do you live with your parents?
Well, what?
Do you live with your parents?
No. Third time I tell you that I live on my own.
What's the rent like?
Huh?
What's the rent where you live?
350.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
And yours?
And how much do you make after taxes in a month?
Ah, yeah, sorry, I forgot. You were blessed with parents who do not bad.
The rent where I live is freaking high, though.
Yeah. They could sell their house and get a 5 come income or something. Then just geomax
No,
your
they don't
house.
have a house.
But these
They don't have a
boomers,
house, they have a business.
I see. Well, okay, that's fair.
Voice changed, bro. Diego, which one? Me and two guests in the VC. Oh yeah.
Hey guys.
Oh,
Hey.
I know this voice. I familiar voice. Who that?
Yeah, it's Mercer.
It's Mercer.
Oh, head up.
We are
Who
live
else
on
told
YouTube, by the way. Yeah, good to have you.
Really?
Yeah,
Is there anything I should
I
see
thought
on the
it's some
screen?
random.
total random rot stream, gulag streams, 0 people watching. Mercer, don't worry,
Oh,
doesn't
we
matter.
can say whatever we want.
Not really, but no need to be
Not
like
really.
nervous, I guess. Yeah, no stage fright
No,
tonight.
I'm never nervous. I'm never nervous.
Yeah, that last stream was so good. Elzak was very good guest. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I loved it. By the way, I just finished a video. I'm going to be uploading it 10 a.m. tomorrow. I believe that's probably the best time to do it. I just got to finish the thumbnail. And I got to
What
come up with a name for it.
what video?
Response video to Tails.
Nice.
Yeah. Or I'm
Do you
not
Yeah.
still
nasty in
have?
my response videos.
Or you stay
So,
like always polite?
yeah. I'm not nasty. I just disagree.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what he
Mercer,
was
I've been
thinking about
reading
before.
The Culture of Critique by Kevin McDonald.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sounds like I need to call de-radicalizing agents to come after you.
He's made some interesting points about the Albanians.
There was a guy who commented in the first stream when Jeremy started using the term Albanian, and he was like, "Yes, I am Albania. Ask me question about Albania." Some random actual Albanian who didn't get it.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, I kind of figured that you meant the other people when you said Albanian.
Yeah.
Especially when you said there were about 2% of the population. Picked up right away.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how else you could take it. Like, does he think that Albanians are controlling the U.S. government? Okay, if we start seeing Albania occupy all of the Balkans and then starve Serbs to death, then we know what's going on.
Yeah.
For the U.S. support.
Albania. Most Albanians don't even live in Albania.
Слушаю тебя.
Yeah, that's why the IQ there is so low. It's full of like demented old people, pretty much.
So, fun fact, do you know in Albania most of the structures are unfinished because if you don't... Do you know about the collaudatation process of the buildings?
Isn't there some weird
Okay,
law where if you don't finish the buildings, you
Here
don't
is
get taxed on them or
Here's the
something?
catch. Yeah, if you don't finish the building, you don't have to pay the taxes. So all the buildings are unfinished. People are living inside skeleton buildings in Albania.
That is so fucking funny.
That's that.
That is so funny.
It's a national sport not to finish your building. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and also stealing cars from the rest of the EU and bringing them back to Albania. I guess Albania is not even in the EU now that I think about it.
Of course.
Thank God. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if adding them to the EU would make much of a difference because all the Albanians are outside of Albania anyways.
It would be a downgrade for the economy.
Do you consider Albanians, and when I mean Albanians, I mean real Albanians, to be white?
I mean, yeah, genetically they're like Greeks, but a little more northern shifted. They're not like genetically non-European, but just as a country and population, they're notorious for bad behavior.
Yeah, because we have a lot of Albanians here, close to where I live, and a lot of these Albanians just can't shut up about being Albanian. They fly their flag, they have their necklace, they do that little hand symbol.
They do the little hand symbol. What is this, like a white supremacist symbol, like the OK sign?
No, look
Yeah,
up Albanian soccer with the hands, where they put their
Albanian.
hands together, and it's supposed to be the Albanian eagle or whatever. They fly, yeah. They
I've
just,
never heard of that.
yeah, they do it a lot in soccer, but yeah, that's kind of what Albanians do here in the United States. They just fly the Albanian flag.
Yeah, they always do that everywhere. Like there was this chick, this Bosnian chick that was flying her flag and showing all of her merch, her Bosnian merch, and then it turns out she's living in Sweden. Like whatever. Actually, they're kind of screwed over because a lot of the rich Gulf Arabs will go down to Albania and Bosnia because they're European Muslims. They're the only real European Muslims. So they're like easy pickings for these super rich sheikhs.
Oh, the Bosnians?
Yeah, because it's like, okay, an Arab multimillionaire who can give you a life of permanent luxury just wanders in. What do you do? I mean, how's the average Bosnian going to compete with that? Like, yeah, maybe he's better looking, but I mean, you compare a Bosnian lifestyle to what you can get it as like the wife of a Gulf Arab or something that has millions of dollars. It's like, no, there's no competition.
Do you think they're capable of assimilating to the West?
Well, sure. I mean, if you get them out of their third world mindset, maybe, but it'd take a lot of effort. Certainly wouldn't be easy. Another problem with the Balkans is that they all hate each other. So, you know, this is what I noticed with Balkan Slavs that we brought over from the Yugoslavia after it was in its civil war. So this was in the 90s. They're fine on their own, but you can't let them anywhere near each other because they become homicidal towards each other.
Do you know that movie Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson? So,
I don't think so.
and you should watch it. So it's about this F-18 pilots who got shot down somewhere in Bosnia or Croatia, or you know, between Serbia and Bosnia, somewhere near Srebrenica. Basically, they got shot down by anti-missile.
Shit.
Yeah, and Owen Wilson is the main hero who actually escaped by foot. Yeah, dodging the
Probably a
persuaders.
comedy.
No, it's actually very, very immersive, and like he's great in that movie, and a lot of references to NATO, you know, trying to guard that area, you know, between Adriatic Sea and those hills in Balkans, those mountains. That beef back in '99. Yeah.
If I were gonna do a movie about the Balkans, I would make it a comedy because they're the fact that they're their own worst enemies is extremely comical.
Yeah, because they say, Russians say also, life is a joke.
Yeah,
Oh no,
exactly.
crash.
And then they drink. No, but a lot of Balkans understand each other too. It's better than with
Yeah, it's
Germans.
kind of weird. It's like Greece and Turkey. Ironically, from a strategic point of view, Greece and Turkey actually have a lot more strategic interests in common, just based on their location and whatever. But because of historical reasons, they hate each other. I suppose that one's more understandable.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a thumbnail for my the next video. Shit. See, it's either I can figure out the thumbnail immediately and then I have to figure out all the content, or I do the content and then I'm stuck spending way too long on the thumbnail. Like shit.
It happens.
Yeah. Like usually when I can't think of something, I just stick an
can't
animator
sit
on
on
there.
it. You have to make a finish date. And even if it's the shittiest thumbnail you have at the last time, you have to use it.
Oh
Because
yeah.
you have to
Oh,
get
yeah.
to make that videos. Your channel will die.
Yeah. Well, the problem is I've already made kind of a history of decent thumbnails. I can't make a half-ass thumbnail now because it's kind of
Hey, for you it might be. You are just one guy without no opinion. Maybe for other guys it's look, some musicians they said, oh, this gonna be a flop song 100%, and then become their best song, the best sold, diamond, platinum, whatever. Imagine. So I just don't give a fuck. Release it.
Maybe.
That's good.
But I can't cheap out on this one.
Tails.
Yeah, it's responding to Tails. I might include his profile pic in the. Well, that might be a little too
Oh, did he
provocative.
make a video about you?
Well, he mentioned me in the video.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't actually ask me about it. He added rehab room, but he mentioned me.
Was
I'm
it just in a sentence or
demonizing white women with all my ethnic friends. And I think these
just
Slavs are also considered ethnic according to him.
just
So,
that he said? Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just a hint. You can just also make a quick insult like, "Oh, he is, he's trying to cope with his aging or with his manletism with 16-year-olds in his poor Discord server." You can say that.
Yeah, half of them are Turks. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
can we
half
at
of the
least be
Turks,
consistent
even
with our
half of them are
racism
Turks,
here?
are immigrants
Can we,
themselves. And I have the
like, can we
proof.
at least
That's
be
the thing. I
consistent?
can send the proofs if you want. You can blend them in. I know these people. Like, I talk to them myself.
Yeah, I don't want to be too provocative.
This is not
'cause I
like
don't.
6
I
to 5
honestly like.
Dolph Lundgren chats. You know?
He has a lot more beef against me than I have against him.
Okay, there's Pepster, but he's fat and ugly, has glasses, and okay, he's 6'5", but he's from Austria. And then there's one chat, but he's Russian. Like, dude, what the fuck?
He's a
Stop.
Russian, but he's allowed in. Like, I don't get it.
Nah,
I thought the Russians were orcs.
bro. The Russians before the war are safe. Like, come on, dude.
So you think this guy was kicked out after the war?
No, he was living in Germany before the war, like me.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm confused. Wait a minute, because from my understanding, he's like talking about the Russians being like a genetically
Genetically
evil
Russian.
group. Yeah, so it's like, what did the genetics suddenly shift after the Ukraine war? Or? I'm confused.
Why should the genetics shift? I don't understand.
I have no idea. Like, I'm trying to understand his point of view here. I don't get it myself.
Ah, okay. I didn't watch the video of Tails, but yeah, I think you'll get it. You will make a good job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not doing the video on that because there's nothing I can say about that because it's like, okay, he's saying that the Slavs are genetically different. I'm like, no, like, am I supposed to show him the genetic data that everybody knows? Like,
He can
I
say
don't
that
understand
food
even.
is good, and his audience will still like it.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, in this video, he's making more of like a feminism is eugenic argument. That's a little too. It's a little too reductive, but it's not far off. It is basically like a feminism is, or he's like feminism if it's trad is legit. And I'm like, I don't think so.
Hey, Medican, can I make some quotes about the culture of critique? Or do you think that wouldn't be allowed on YouTube?
Quotes about what?
It doesn't matter. Maybe just if you can hide the language a little bit, maybe you'll be fine.
All right, because I found this quote very interesting. It's about the mass slaughtering, the Albanian mass slaughtering event. You know what I
Is it
mean?
about the Greeks?
No, it's about the
Or are you talking
Albanian.
about 20th? Are you talking about the 20th century?
Talk about the 20th century, the Albanian mass slaughtering event. Not the real Albanians, the other Albanians.
Yeah, I don't know. That
Yeah,
can get
okay,
my
yeah.
that can get my shit in troubles. Yeah, maybe try a different topic.
So no, I'll try to hide the language.
Well,
Hello?
usually he doesn't. I mean, he's not engaging in any historical revisionism.
Oh, okay.
So at least that, from what I recall, he's not doing historical revisionism.
I found this quote. It's from the book, page 53. It's highly interesting. So it says this. He argues that the What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. So it says he argues that the importance of the mass slaughtering event is not a spontaneous phenomenon, but stems from highly focused, well-funded efforts of Albanian organizations and individual Albanians with access to the major media. We are not
Yeah.
So get this. We are not just the people of the book, but the people of the Hollywood film and television miniseries, of magazine article and newspaper column, of the comic book and academic symposium. When a high level of concern with the mass slaughtering became widespread in American Albanery, it was given the important role that Albanians play in American media and opinion-making elites, not only natural, but virtually inevitable that it would spread throughout the culture at large. The Holocaust, oh my bad, the mass slaughtering was originally promoted to rally support for Albania following the 1967 and 1973 Arab-Albania wars. Albanian organizations portrayed Albania's difficulties as stemming from the world's having forgotten the mass slaughtering event. The mass slaughtering event framework allowed one to put aside as irrelevant any legitimate ground for criticizing Albania, to avoid even considering the possibility that the rights and wrongs were complex. As the threat to Albania subsided, the mass slaughtering event was promoted as the main source of Albanian identity, and in the effort to combat assimilation and intermarriage among Albanians.
Oh, it sure as hell failed on that front, didn't it?
During this period, the mass slaughtering event was also promoted among non-Albanians as an antidote to anti-Albanianism.
Yeah. These assholes steal your car and then they demand that you don't discriminate against them. Bastards.
Well, okay, so I mean, I'll just paraphrase or I'll just summarize. So essentially, they injected mandated courses this is what he says, they injected mandated courses in public schools to remind everyone about the mass slaughtering and how it was such a universal evil and how everyone should be revulsed at this. But he says that this was primarily an instrument of Albanian ethnic interest. And it wasn't just about creating moral revulsion. It was to promote, their interest as a group.
Oh yeah.
Because he was even noting the double standard in their I guess their moral philosophy or their moral framework, where they have a different moral standard for their people and for not their people.
You could say triple standard, bro. The amount of manipulation that went into that is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Did you know? So I finished elementary school and I finished high school, correct? So in both cases, both schools, they organized trip into these types of camps, by the way, which are only 150 kilometers away from my hometown. And they had to tell us everything about it and scare us properly, deep enough. Give us PTSD as a 9-year-old kids. Yeah? and gaslight us into not ever repeating this or telling us how we used to be collaborators. Bad guy, bad guy. What you gonna
Oh,
do
yeah.
when they come for you?
Yeah, they did it to us too. I remember the first time that that we got that what would you call it? That lecturing. I remember it was at a school. I was like 7 or 8. Or no, I was a little older than that. I was around 9. And yeah, it was. And they kept referencing bullying. It was the weirdest thing. It was like the bullies were going to repeat this event, or like they were bullies for doing this or something, because it was during the anti-bullying campaign. It was really strange.
It was in my home. Those deportations were happening in my hometown, and since I am the citizen of that town, back then people were actually blaming us for doing this and let this allow to be happen. By the way, I'm talking 30 years ago.
Really?
Of course.
Oh
The
my
deportations
God.
happened everywhere, even from Greece. Did you know? From Athens. There was deportation from Athens, from Netherlands, France,
Yeah, but what are
Ukraine,
you supposed to
Belarus,
do?
everywhere. Yeah.
You guys are probably just hiding in the mountains, burning wood like like you were doing before you Thailand back.
Anyway, I see comment from Mark. He said he's in probably Thailand right now. So Mark, can you elaborate? How do you what happening to you every day? Where are you? What are you doing? And join the Discord. We want to hear more from you.
I'm jealous, honestly, right now. Fuck, my mood is
That was
fucked.
in
I'm
high school.
guys, sorry.
Yeah, I hate these people.
Just the
Hope you all
first sentence
suffer.
said, "Oh, I'm Thailand." It reminds me of my life situation.
It reminds me that I'm not there.
Motivation for the future
Reminds me of
was
Curry.
like Mercer. You are preparing that live stream about Slav cells, and it would be good to hear from Langelf what he have to say. You know, no, for real. I'm serious. Yeah. People
Yes,
need to
other
know.
Yeah, that is on the list.
People need
at
to
some
know.
point.
Some of these Americans, they can't even imagine the fact that there can be drones
Yeah,
dropping in your neighborhood. Like,
they're just stupid.
you can't even
They're just
comprehend
stupid.
this.
Understand? You have to accept that some nations and some nationalities and groups are just too retarded. Yeah, understand? They're
yeah,
not
it is pretty
bad in the
wild.
army. There's more.
It also gives you some
black guys
context as
achieving
well.
more than white guys nowadays. White guys just they become drug addicts or chill with their parents at their home that they inherit. These fucking skater boys, white. What's so good about these people? Nothing. And the blacks, at least they have to grow up in a shit environment and hustle themselves out of the shit. Get out of the mud.
Usually the women are really not hard to, you know.
The women, that's a different, complete difference. Yeah, but
It may not be ideal, but they seem to be all right with it, and they're not as difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah, you see live fuel in the quick chat. Mark is giving us references about being approached in Asia, which that's the tutorial for other boys. Like, in the West, we'll only get approached by some hobos asking you for money. That's
it's a
it.
random night chat and UFC. He's in Thailand and doing great, like everyone.
Yeah, already mogging.
No, I'm happy for him. You know, he's our people.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's good.
Mocks me.
At this point, half of my server are active geoaxers. It's like I'm collecting these people, you know.
Not active, like,
Yeah.
so they are like 2 or 3
How'd they,
mates are really active.
How'd they find your server? Are you just advertising it?
Not really. Only through YouTube. That's it.
Interesting. Just wondering how they're finding it.
Everyone should join who is interested about leaving his hometown, because this is the only way how women can love you nowadays, and it's nothing the best.
Yeah.
Only
Well, it is
hiking
what it is.
with humor. Let's go for a hike in the dirty mountains of Bavaria.
Yeah. You can go in the
Okay.
mountains and burn some sticks.
I
In a
rather
pit.
sweat to death in Thailand than freeze to death here in this mountain area with no sun. I'd rather burn to death in Thailand than freeze to death here in Germany. It's fucking crazy.
I think I figured out a thumbnail. If you want, you could preview it on the stream, Medi. We can get
Show
it
show
logo.
me in the DM.
Подходи!
Yeah. Just a sec.
But I'm not getting in that. The word I'm looking for? Yeah, it's a fabricated beef. What Tails did to you? It's more like creating problems where they don't
Opposite.
are necessarily. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know. It's all good fun. It
Man,
gave me
you
an
should make it
excuse
all
to
about
do.
Tails, and you will get the most views, like a complete overreaction to his comment, and then roast him, dude, and then make a thumbnail with Tails something funny. That would reach so many people, but the
Yeah, that could get a lot of hate too.
so
It's not.
like so dumb, and maybe it will also be a flop. I don't know. Yeah,
Well, it could end up causing problems. You know, I don't want to get a whole bunch of haters on my
Ну,
hands.
привет.
fuck the haters.
Yeah.
They only bring cloud, nothing more.
Well, he has enough people. He could raid me if he wanted to. So I'm kind of like, you're not gonna be nasty.
Report or something. Yeah, report is pussy. But I think if you don't overreact, then they cannot do shit. Just have to know the YouTube guide.
Yeah.
Что-то поч...
Just write fuck Tails in the description, in the title.
Yeah. Well, that's just what I want to do.
No, we don't play dirty. We are gentlemen of the hardware. Hardwired. Oh man.
I have too much.
We are wage
proper
slaves stuck
English
in the West.
ancestry. I can't be that uncouth.
We provide solution that we not even execute by ourselves. How good are we?
Okay.
Yeah, just 1 or 2 times per year in Thailand is for me not geomaxing. That's a vacation. Maxing. You can call it that if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just figuring out how you can even live there. That's the problem.
Yeah. And especially Thailand is hard to made for to live there. Hard requirement. Have to plan your life basically from, I don't know, 16, 17. You can still do it kinda if you're lazy, but then you have to teach English and that's fucked. I don't know how to do that. Or you can
Yeah,
get
I
into
mean,
a
I
high
imagine that's a
career,
little
but
more
that's so
difficult for you
risky.
guys,
Even
right?
then you might not get a high paying job. Huh?
Yeah, I imagine that's more risky for you guys, right? Or not risky, but more difficult because it's not your native language.
Yeah, that
Language is
too.
not the
But I also
problem.
hear that from Germans. They teach English, even German for it. So if they can, we can do it too. It's not like these kids in Thailand care anyway.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
Привет, брат.
It's just the fact that you are still a wage slave, like in the West, and cannot enjoy the day. You wage slave the whole day, and then in the evening, maybe, yeah, you have a good life. That's true. That's true. It's still better than the West, but I mean, it's much worse than going on vacation, like I do, for example, once or two times in a year. Then you're just free. You can roam around like Robinson Crusoe, whatever, like Huckleberry Finn, whatever. Just do nothing. Yeah, and then you have to wage like every day. That's the difference. That's the difference. Fuck this game, I don't play another. And I go out quick, get those candy.
Come on. We are live, bro. Don't burp into this shit.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I thought I muted. My bad. It's sorry, streams. 2 viewers.
Yeah, it's a dead stream.
Yeah.
We need to start speaking English, you know. I'm excited to get started. Battle of WoW. Governor. And suddenly, boom, 200 views. Ah, look at that. I was right. Already 5 people joined ever since I started imitating British accent. You see the power of being accent self.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's brutal.
In it.
Yeah, in it, fam.
Yeah, but I have like the most subhuman of Anglo accents. That's the problem. Like the English at the top tier.
The top, like Drawlix used. Or, I don't know.
The problem is that having like a northeast accent, it makes you sound too sarcastic. And yeah. Whereas the British accent, it just makes you sound upbeat, cheerio, proper. Okay.
Do you guys have a PlayStation? No. Probably not. Cyberdino. It's not alive. But that's what we are used to here, of course. And we don't care. Because it's a chill, cope, night, rope, whatever you want to call it, stream. Yeah, so. If something interesting comes to your head, you say it. If not, then there will be breaks. It's not American style, constant talking and not thinking about what the other guy said. Just to have something to say himself. Yeah, just waiting to talk. Some guys are just waiting to talk their shit. They don't even like understand what the other guy is saying. Like there needs to be some time. Yeah, some guys are more high IQ, they understand quicker, or maybe they're not stoned or whatever, but Jesus, take a break sometimes. I think it's okay. Like 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 20 seconds silence is okay. It doesn't have to be dialogue. 2 hours constant talking.
It is actually kind of tricky. You gotta actually be fairly decent at.
Yeah, you have to be decent, and for YouTube it's good, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's
it's
why
nice
they
to
are
have a
famous, like
co-host.
Tom Sawyer.
Guys who can do this on their own, I don't know. It's incredible. They mog me.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you are more popular. You can do it by your own.
Kind of. I mean, I'm not really that great at it, to be honest with you. I can sort of ad lib, but I kind of get lost and I trip over my own thoughts.
It's more work, definitely.
Yeah, you have to be really thinking about what
If
you're
you have
trying
a
to
script,
say.
then you can talk for like 1 or 2 hours. If you have other people, then it's much easier.
Yeah, you don't really want to use a script when you're talking on the what do you call it? You don't really want to use a script when you're talking to people and you're interacting and stuff because it sounds too stale and canned. People tend to not like that. It just tends to bore people.
Yo, what's the silence? Anybody here?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do this shit in GIMP. I should really start doing Fiverr or something because I'm getting pretty good at this stuff.
Oh, I'm muted. Fuck.
Different. Oh my god.
Mercer, do you have any advice for the people?
Have any advice? Probably the last person anyone should take advice from.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, like, what exactly could I give advice on? I mean, I'm in Leaf. I'm a Leaf of all things. rotate. That's
He started the stream, RTX, and then he asked me if I had any advice for the people.
Maybe
I told the
after.
stream, get multiple jobs, stack of
Get
money,
money,
and live
fuck
with your
it.
parents.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
does
true.
Mongar
I don't know why
exist?
Mercer started. Can ask him.
Listen, I mean, I'm fine working 70 hours or more in a week because I live with my parents. And right now, that's quite possibly the only way to make money where I live is just to work multiple jobs because all of the high paying jobs are gate kept.
Yeah, it's fucking gay. I know.
Stupid.
You're right.
They're actually increasing. They're increasing the requirements to get an electrician's license in my state. Actually,
No, the finance.
so yeah. So in my state, I would say pre-COVID, you had to work for at least 5 years or the equivalent, I think, of 6,000 hours or something like that in order to get your electrical license. But now they're increasing it to almost 8 years, 7.5 years. And I've heard rumors that they're going to try to increase it to close to 10. But I don't know if those rumors are true. But they're definitely increasing it to 7.5 years to get your license.
So, yeah, they're gonna make it more difficult because as the economy gets worse, there's just a natural incentive. Um,
Yeah, it just kind of sucks. They're just making it harder for all of the young, aspiring people to get into a high-paying trade. Listen, I told you this before, but in the trades right now, they just use young people as cheap labor, and they pay them about $20 an hour, which is decent, but they keep them at that wage rate for a very long time, and they barely give any pay raises.
yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so a
It's
lot
gonna
of
be like
people
that.
go into the trade. Yeah, go. My bad, sir.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be like that for a long time, and it's probably gonna stay that way. Like as the economy goes into like a perpetual decline, they're going to. Oh, hang on a second. I'm not sure I like this thumbnail. Here,
Use
take a look-
that
take a look at this. Tell me what
Yandere or Sandere, or what was that name of that s- of that anime character? Which
I don't know. I don't actually know this one's name. I just got it off of a random site. Not sure if I like the. Not sure how much I like it. I think maybe I should add some text, but I still have to think of the name of it.
Я тебя слушаю. Ты говорил уже, что хотел.
Yeah, I think the wages are going to remain stagnant for quite a while.
in my location, the wages are actually going down because of the foreigners are willing to work for less and less.
Yeah, we kind of have a similar situation here, although because of the new restrictions, they're getting kicked out because of that organization. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on stream.
What? Oh, I wasn't sure what you were referring to there.
Immigration Customs Enforcement.
Oh, I think that's fine. I don't think you're going to get in trouble for that.
Okay. Well, I don't know what the guidelines are regarding what words I can and cannot say, so I was just playing it safe. But yeah, it's kind of weird. So I know the job market's a little different everywhere for construction, but where I live, all of the roofers are Hispanic. All of them. You don't have any American roofers, and you don't have any American landscapers. All of them are taken by Latinos because a lot of them work for $11 or $12 an hour, which is below the minimum wage where I live.
Yeah, but they don't get
Wow.
taxed, so they can just pocket it.
The Latinos in America
Yeah, a
are
lot of them
mugging
just get
me
they just get paid in cash.
are salary mugging me. The Hispanics are salary mugging me.
No. But check this out. So at the first grocery store I worked at, there were 3 Mexicans who were working off the books. But they all got fired because they were caught stealing on the cameras. And I asked them how much they got paid, and they told me they got paid $900 a week in cash.
That's too much, bro, for me. That's fortune.
So, yeah. It was kind of, I mean, I don't know why they decided to steal despite getting paid so much, but they got fired, and then I had to work overtime about 80 to 90 hours a week during an entire summer just because these guys wanted to steal. I made some good money, but I mean, not paying taxes is great. I mean, they were getting paid a little over $20 an hour in cash, 22, 23. It's amazing.
Much. That's what I make in one day.
Yeah, it's brutal. I was joking with RTX before that here in America, or even Elzak too, the Peruvian guy. I was talking to him as well. I told him here in America, you have enough money to buy cheap technology like video game consoles and smartphones, but you don't have enough money to buy a house or even a car because cars are expensive here too.
Everywhere like that.
It's like
Crazy.
you could buy a cheap smartphone for $150 for from 6 years ago, and you can buy a PlayStation 5 for $400, but you can't afford rent.
Exactly.
It's brutal. It's brutal. Enough money to cope, but not enough money to have a future.
Yeah, they say in Germany.
You there, Mercer?
Die and too poor.
Yeah, I'm just doing something here.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was asking Elzak about Peru, and he told me that it was a very promiscuous culture. South America.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, you can't really secure. I mean, you can if you go out looking carefully, but it's a lot like 16th century Europe, I found culturally, where you have this like upper crust that behaves in a respectable fashion, and then you have this massive degenerate underbelly that reproduces itself. So that's coming to an end, I think, with the birth rates collapsing.
Yeah, because they're not reproduced. all of them have sub-replacement fertility, right? Sub-replacement. It's all below 2.1 Latin America.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What Elzak told me was that it's easier to get snuggles, but it's harder to get commitment.
Interesting observation.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what Elzak. Yeah.
And some guys
I mean, and he
confuse
told me
it.
that. Yeah, he told me he was 177 centimeters, which is about 5'10", which is very tall for a Peruvian, actually.
Yeah, that is true.
Peruvians are freaking short, man. Peruvians are short.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that helps in Peru, but even then, like, we're still talking relative.
Yeah, like the average man in Peru is 5'4", and the average woman's 5 feet tall.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Elzak was telling me about a gene that makes Peruvians short because it helped them survive in the Andes Mountains at high altitudes. Or there's some gene associated with their
Oh.
height.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
he
that
was
sounds
telling
about
me-
right.
Yeah, because I lived in a Hispanic community that was Mexican, Guatemalan, and Peruvian, and the shortest people were the Peruvians and Guatemalans. Guatemalans and Peruvians are short, and they're mostly Amerindian looking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the
I'm
taller
just,
one. Yeah, the taller ones were the Mexicans because the Mexicans were more mestizo. Just like, because if you've ever encountered Peruvians or Guatemalans in mass, you'll notice that most of them are close to full Amerindian heritage. I mean, you will find some mestizos and some, whites or castizos, but they're a minority.
yeah, they never really managed to get into the jungle too much. I guess there
No,
wasn't much
no.
incentive to. Just wasn't all that much there.
I mean, they took the potato though.
Yeah, the potato mods. It was a great fun.
They got the most important commodity out of Peru, the potato. Without the potato, a lot of European populations wouldn't have been able to reproduce. Because we were talking about this before. If you look at the statistics on crops, potatoes are the most efficient in regards to water usage. If you look at grains or rice, those crops require substantially higher amounts of water in order to mature. But if you look at the potato, in order for it to reach maturity, it only needs a little bit of water because most of the water is retained in the tuber. So it was a godsend. Yeah, it was a godsend for the Irish, the Russians, the Polish. It's a miracle crop, and it's not
true.
just. It's also it can grow. It can practically grow in almost any soil. You don't need a highly nutritious soil in order to grow it. But in the Middle Ages, they found out that you had to rotate the crops because potatoes do take nitrogen out of the soil, and then if you don't rotate it, then you won't be able to grow potatoes anymore.
Yeah, but they still were, especially for places like Ireland. That was the main reason why Europe had really poor economic growth compared to Asia, historically. I mean, The farms were just low quality.
Yeah, and the potato was able to grow there.
Yeah, exactly.
I've
That's
grown
true.
potatoes before. Let me tell you something. I've grown potatoes before, and they mostly grow by themselves. You just plant it in the ground. You don't. I barely watered my potatoes because where I lived, it was raining most of the time. So I just didn't water it. And 3 months later, I had full grown potatoes, and I barely did anything. It's literally the potato is the lazy man's crop.
Yeah, it's true. It was. This is also why the Irish were actually rather tall, despite having to go through a lot of economic hardship, especially during the famine. Um, they still ended up being quite tall due to how nutritious potatoes were. So we're a pro potato channel on here.
Potato supremacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Potato farmers are superior to grain
There,
farmers
there
and
is
rice
that
farmers.
scene in Breaking Bad where Walter White comes to Saul Goodman, and Walter White is LARPing as Irish with Irish surname, and he's like, "Oh, my name McGill. Oh, fellow potato eater." You know, he say, "Fellow potato eater." What the fuck? I was laughing so hard.
I was reading stories about the British and what they thought of the Irish. They thought that the potato made it too easy for the Irish to live and reproduce because it required such little
Yeah,
effort to grow.
yeah, they were doing like the eugenic shit. They were calling the Irish Iberians and stuff. Now those are the good old days, back when we had like advanced racism. Now we just have this basic bitch racism, where it's just like, oh, you're just a different continental group than me. Back then we were like, no, we're gonna fine grain this shit. If you're not from England and Saxony, you're not even white. And that's Benjamin Franklin's here. That's how we used to roll.
Well, I mean, did they really think that the Irish weren't white? Because I've heard otherwise.
No, they didn't think the Irish weren't white, but they thought they were an inferior subgroup. By the way, do you think Medican? Do you think that's too edgy?
Yeah, that's what I've heard about
What?
the British in regards to the Irish.
Yeah.
They would say that the Irish were inferior to the Anglo culture.
Pretty much. Yeah. By the way, Medican, do you think that's too edgy, or do you think I'm okay with that?
No, why edgy? It's okay. People you don't even know who are these
Uglier
two.
and dumber. It could be seen as harassment, or it could be seen as insulting a.
Yeah, you can insult the Curry Sims that gonna be defending that poet in the picture. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't know who are these two people. You should probably use a better example. Is that the Vance, that Secretary Vance. But then again,
Yeah, but
that will get you in trouble.
his wife isn't that ugly. She's not really that ugly. She's just Indian.
Yeah.
She's not really. Whereas this one is.
Look, I am wrong person to ask. I am raised mixer myself, so yeah.
I gotta tell you a story about one of my rich friends that I knew in high school. He graduated high school and his father put him in as the manager of movie theater. And I think he makes 80 to 90K now, simply through the connection of his father. Crazy.
Oh yeah.
And I still think he lives with his parents too.
That is mogging. Fuck.
Yeah, smogging, bro. Smogging. I mean, how hard can it be to manage a movie theater? You barely. I mean, aside from the weekends, what are you really doing as a manager at a movie theater? Wait. I would take that job in a heartbeat. 80K to manage a movie theater? I mean, you probably don't have to be that smart.
Yeah, that's true.
You just gotta
I
make
know
sure
that my,
you're.
I know that my
Yeah, you just gotta
I know
make
that
sure
my
you're always
grandfather-
stocked.
my grandfather owned a
Go ahead.
my grandfather owned a pool club or something along those lines. It was like a pool place. And yeah, he made money on that. It's pretty good actually. Alright.
Если что, вы знаете, где меня искать.
So, who
Yeah.
wants a link to my video before it publishes?
I just.
Everybody.
All right, hold on.
Sure, why not?
All right. I'm just gonna make sure it works.
Здравствуй, здравствуй.
Okay, it is working. All right. All right, VC discussion.
Заходи еще.
It's not going to premiere until 10 a.m., but it still exists as private.
10 a.m. That's in a couple of hours, no?
Yeah, that's in about 12 hours.
Private.
That's the peak times for my viewers.
Says it's private. Yo. Or you just have the preview.
Yeah, is it working? Like when you click it?
No, it says it's private.
Oh, so it doesn't allow you. Oh, I wonder if there's some way I can. Medican, when you click it, does it work?
Oh, I am logged in right now. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you're streaming. Yeah, I forgot. Okay. Let me see here.
Yeah, it's private. Dude, I just wish the economic situation were better. It would ease our
Yeah,
suffering.
no, it's not getting better, unfortunately.
It's not gonna get better. That's what I was telling RTX, man. I told them in America, if you don't have connections, you're not gonna get paid a good wage. You're not gonna get paid a good wage at all. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy thing. A lot of these job positions that require you to get a certification or training also pay a low wage. They pay $19 or $20 an hour to do freaking EMT, to work as a nurse, to work as an electrical apprentice, plumbing apprentice. It's all freaking $19 to $20 an hour. Very few jobs pay $25 an hour or more. Very few. I'm telling you, very few.
Yeah, you have to already know someone to be connected.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be working either minimum wage or working for $20 an hour. And that's a good. even getting $20 an hour, in my opinion, is a little difficult, but it's doable. But
That
yeah,
would mog anything I've had before, yeah. Well, actually, well, it depends on how, because it's hard to say, because I've gotten paid, I've
All
gotten paid
depends
like
on the job.
$25 an hour.
I rather earn 15 monies and I like the work than rather 20 or 30 hours and I dislike the work. It all depends on the work. At least sometimes, of course, if they give you like a real good money, then you're willing to do shit work.
Yeah. I'm trying to edit this. I'm trying to edit this little piece here. But it's like the editor that you can use in YouTube is really shit. Like it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. And then if you confirm any changes, it takes like 3 hours to process that change. But yeah, you can cut off certain parts and add the watermarks, floating bubbles.
Попутного ветра.
another thing that I've
Тебе
noticed
чего,
is
сталкер?
I would say another thing that I've noticed here is that a lot of the Uber Eats and Uber drivers are
Jeez.
immigrants.
Of course. Only that, bro.
Yeah, most of these gig jobs are occupied by foreigners right now.
Апгрейд.
Yeah, it seems like the only way to get ahead in this economy is to work 80 hours a week. There's no other way.
Even then, you get nuked on. You get nuked on the taxes as well.
Yeah, you get nuked on taxes and rent.
Yeah, and fines. In Germany, a lot of fines. 10 euro I have to pay for because my car was standing at the street like a couple of centimeters before the lantern. Oh my god. So many fines. You have to pay for propaganda TV that you don't watch.
Is that what you have to do with the UK? The UK has that licensing board or whatever.
I heard some shit that UK gonna have some VPN firewall, something like China, or some kind of COSA, kid protection pact, something like Patriot Act, but you know, to protect kids. It's weird. I don't know what's happening right now in UK.
Yeah, I think they're trying to censor
Basically,
BBC
and also they want
political
to block all the Corno site, by the way. Somehow. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's because of the political crisis that's unfolding. Because they have like the standard of living is collapsing in the UK, but at the same time they're bringing in all these refugee claimants, and they're putting them in hotels that are paid for by the government, and they're living like comparatively like luxuriously. And it's yeah, it's pissing off a lot of people.
You know, going back to the Mexico City riots we were talking about 2 weeks ago, I kind of don't blame them for going to Mexico City because their salary just has a higher purchasing power over there. especially if they're a remote worker or a digital nomad, it makes more
Well, hell
sense to
yeah.
live in. Yeah, it just makes more sense to live in a developing country. Why would you
I
live in
mean,
America?
I'd probably do it too. I mean, I know that would make me a horrific hypocrite, but it is true. Like the living standards
Well,
are
yeah,
just with the amount of money.
so I mean, everything is like a ripple effect from the economic situation. Everyone's getting affected by it. It's not just America and the West. Japan's getting affected, China, South America, because of all these digital nomads moving there because they can't afford anything in the States.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, shoot, I might become a digital nomad. I was thinking about becoming a remote medical interpreter
How do you do that?
because you have to get a certification. I would have to go back to college to
Oh,
take a
medical
course.
interpreter, like you interpret a language or something?
Yeah, so I was thinking about doing it for Hispanic people, learning Spanish and then interpreting it for them. But I would have to become educated on medical terminology.
I mean, a lot of the medical terminology is either Greek or Latin, so it's not like it's going to be, and it's the same in English. So it's not going to be too difficult, I imagine.
Yeah, it's not going to be too difficult, but there are job positions that pay $20 an hour or $25 an hour remotely. So I was thinking, even if I get a $20 per hour job, that's remote. So I can just move to South America and make 40K a year, which is not a lot in the States, but it's a lot in South America.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just piss off the locals. I mean, eventually, I think, eventually they're going to have a problem with it.
Listen.
Um,
Yeah, they're probably going to expatriate the freaking local, the Americans or the expats. But listen. I'm going to be very respectful. I'm going to wear a sombrero. I'm going to get some rattles. I'm going to
I'm
put
sure they're going to love
a
it. They're going to
Mexican
be like,
flag.
oh, senor.
Listen. I'm half Asian, and people have mistaken me for being Hispanic. So I'm
No
going to
way.
go through accent training to make myself sound Mexican. And I'm going to pretend I'm going to
You know
get a
what?
Mexican
I didn't
haircut.
think of that. But
I'm going to get a. Listen, I'm just going to I'm going to get a Mexican haircut. I'm going to really act like a Mexican so people don't suspect me of being an American.
Мне сказали, есть клевое место, клевое. Артефакты вроде бы.
Get the Mexican haircut, so just get bald.
Подхожу, значит. Толканул я дверцу. Закрыто. Шуток.
honestly, I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good point.
Я, значит, ее стерву открываю, она стерва сама закрывается. Понял я, что в дверь меня кто-то не пущает.
Yeah, maybe you could pretend to be a white Mexican. You would have to go through rigorous accent training to make yourself sound like a Mexican, but maybe you would be able to pull it off. Hey, listen, man, that's the new meta. That's the new meta right now for the economic situation. Become
the
a
thing
digital
is,
nomad
I mean,
and then live in South America.
Oh,
yeah, I get it. Though in my case, I don't look anything like a white Mexican.
Oh, damn. So you don't look Mediterranean. That's right.
No, I'm very, very pale. I'm a Fitzpatrick
See,
woman.
when I was living in a Hispanic neighborhood, some Latinos had mistaken me as Latino. So I could potentially play it off.
Yeah, you
I've
could.
had
You could be
people,
like, you can rub your hands and take over their society from within.
yeah, I've had people mistaken me for being a Mexican, for being a Filipino, for being a Kazakh, for being
Kazakh
a
is
Brazilian.
understandable.
Yeah, because I'm half Asian. But people have mistaken me for being Filipino too, and Mexican.
Oh, that's
So,
actually kind of brutal. I mean, no offense to Filipinos listening, but that's pretty brutal.
yeah, I mean,
That's pretty brutal.
listen, man.
Splits are kind of known for, well, they're known for being quite short. I'm surprised that they would think that you were Filipino.
Yeah. Yeah, I would height mock the Filipinos because I'm 5'11", which is not very tall in the States. I'm only 1 inch taller than the average white guy. In the Philippines, man, what is it? The average height there is 5'5". I would be half a foot taller than everyone.
Подходи, сталкер.
Yeah, they're pretty short. It's
I would
pretty
be,
easy to height mock everyone.
yeah, I would be taller than most Mexicans too. If I went to Mexico, I'd be taller than most of them.
Yeah, they're getting a little taller apparently, but not by all that much. Though,
Yeah,
Elzak was saying the Peruvians are getting taller.
yeah. Elzak was telling me that a lot of the Hispanics in the Zoomer generation are slightly, a little bit taller.
Я тебя слушаю.
They're still shorter. They're still probably about 5'8" on average. It depends on the country though, and the admixture.
Yeah, they got a lot of indigenous ancestry.
Yeah, so in places like Peru or Guatemala, I mean, they're going to be a little bit taller because you got to remember, in Guatemala, there's a lot of malnutrition there. And when they emigrate to America or another first world country, the children are typically 4 inches taller than their parents, or the average, 4 inches taller than the average height of their parents. And that's mostly due to malnutrition and getting properly nourished in the next generation. It's not really genetics, but yeah, with their high Amerindian ancestry, they're not going to get much taller after a certain point.
Yeah, you saw this in Asia too. You actually saw the genetic differences between Japanese, Chinese, and Koreans emerge due to the food and nutrition. We're starting to see the Japanese getting relatively shorter compared to Chinese and Koreans.
Yeah, what I found so weird too about the Japanese is that they have a very long torso compared to their legs.
Yeah, but it has something to do with their Jomon ancestry or Ainu, whatever. Ainu are the descendants of them. That's
Yeah,
something to
some
do with the
people
Jomon
say because
ancestry.
some people say, well, if you look at East Asians in general, they kind of have this long torso, short limb body type, but it's the most pronounced in Japan.
Yeah, well, it's the Jomon ancestry is usually from it's the next closest relative they have genetically, very very distantly, an ancient component within modern Tibetans, and also the Jarawa and Ongre in the Sentinel Island.
Yeah. The crazy thing is even in China, you have a height difference between the northern Chinese and the southern Han Chinese, but there's no substantial IQ difference between the two. But there is about a 3 inch height difference.
Yeah, it could be related to and it's interesting because they have a lot of Southeast Asian ancestry in southern China, surprisingly. They're not that genetically different from the Vietnamese, but they
Yeah.
but they have there's probably a cultural element to there as well.
Yeah, it could be
Which
a
would be
part. Yeah, it could
surprising.
be nutrition. But yeah, I found it strange how if you look at the Southern Han Chinese, they have an average IQ of 104, and then the Northern Han Chinese have an average IQ of 105. But the Northern Chinese are about, close to 5'10", and the Southern Han Chinese are 5'7" or 5'6.5".
Yeah, the Southern High. It's interesting because I think they're actually, when you control for nutrition, they're actually a little bit shorter than the average North Vietnamese. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like not modern North Vietnamese, but I mean, if you look at kin Vietnamese that are like in America, they tend to be taller than the Southern Chinese that are from upper class backgrounds, like in Singapore, Hong Kong, etc.
Yeah. Yeah, the Han Chinese in Singapore and even Hong Kong or Macau are pretty intelligent. They have, I think their average IQ, it depends on which study you look at, but I've seen 108 and I've seen as high as 110.
Yeah, I mean, with these IQs, there's only so much that you can. I'm not too big on trying to figure them out. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what's going wrong with my Adobe Premiere Pro, because for some reason
Yeah,
it's
there are probably confounding variables that are unseen, but it's safe to say that those populations are intelligent enough to create some semblance of a civilization.
oh, certainly. I would agree with that.
Yeah, whether it's 105 or 110 or 104, it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're intelligent enough to create a civilized society at the end of the day.
Yeah, because of the society you want to live in. That's the question.
Well, yeah. Well, according to them, it depends on who you ask. But my grandfather, for example, didn't want to live in China because he left after the Great Leap Forward, and he had to eat rats. So he came to America at 18 years old, looking for a better life. Because in China, they took his dog, and my great grandfather had his antique store. He used to sell ancient artifacts from the Han Dynasty, and he had his antique store confiscated by the CCP. And they sent him to freaking Hong Kong in order to work as a businessman. And they told him he could work in Hong Kong as long as he paid 99% of his income in taxes. No joke.
99%. Well, yeah, then they're just saying you can't work in Hong Kong. That's what they're telling you.
Yeah, so yeah, my great grandfather became depressed, and he became an alcoholic after that. So my grandfather didn't want to live that type of life. So as soon as he hit 18 years old, he just left, went to America, and started a new life.
I know. I mean, that's pretty impressive. They could pull it off. I mean, it wasn't easy back then either. This would have been what, in the 70s, 60s?
Yeah, he can't. No, my grandfather's pretty old. I think he's 80 right now. So this would have been, yeah, this
So
would
he
have
would
been
have
in the
he would have
60s.
left in like the 50s, 60s. Yeah, it would have been the 60s, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he told me some stories about China. I remember we were in Chinatown and they were doing a communist parade wearing the red berets, and he got pissed. He got visibly angry because he remembers the starvation and eating rats.
Yeah, communism is pretty retarded. It just is, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, yeah. My Chinese grandfather really hates communists.
Yeah, well, the problem is
He thinks they would
communism
be better
doesn't
off
work.
executed.
Well, the upside is that they now have a government that has mostly gotten rid of the most insane economic policies, and they are also a state that isn't democratic, which is a very good thing. You do not want a democratic state. Democratic states are very bad. So, yeah, he does have that advantage, or they do have that advantage, I should say.
Yeah,
And
he still
they
doesn't
won't
like China
understand how.
for other reasons. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say like that. There's a lot of people that don't realize how valuable it is to not have a democratic country because democratic countries are so easy to threat from within.
Yeah. The main thing that he hates about China is its relative lack of economic freedom compared to the West. But even in the West, we're becoming less economically free by the day. Just
Well, I would
going
say
down.
economic freedom is kind of pointless if you lose your country. You know, it's like whatever. You know, what benefit do you get out of economic freedom?
Yeah, I guess if you lose your country, it's not worth it. But I'm not living in you know, some authoritarian hellhole, even if it's my country. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be living in poverty for the rest of my life.
I don't know. I mean, I would rather at this point now.
You and I just have a different conception of what the standard of living should be. I mean, a state or I mean a country should definitely have a strong national identity, but if you go too far to restrict economic freedom, you destroy the incentives to create wealth, and a lot of
But who
people would leave your
cares?
country
Who
in
cares?
search of
Who
better
cares about
opportunities.
wealth? Who gives a shit about wealth?
Yeah, I'm
I
on
mean, at a
Mercer's
certain
side.
point.
Well, don't you want your people? Don't you want your own citizens to have a high standard of living? You know?
Well, sure. Maybe once you hit a certain threshold, then it would be like, yeah, like below that threshold, sure, but above that threshold, it's completely irrelevant.
I was actually reading up more on Milton Friedman, and what you said about him being a true believer was true or correct.
Yeah.
So I asked ChatGPT what his stance was on foreign labor because I read Thomas Sowell, and Thomas Sowell was against foreign labor because he said it suppressed working class native wages and that it discouraged innovation. But Milton Friedman was a believer in foreign labor. He was
Friedman was
Milton. The thing about Milton Friedman is that my bad. I was just gonna say the thing about Milton Friedman is that he was a true believer in classical liberalism.
Wow.
He took classical liberalism
Your
pretty much to
mic
its logical
sounds
conclusion.
so good right now. Your mic sounded like shit for 2 hours, and now it sounds so clean. What happened? Can you make it like that forever? Yeah, your mic just switched into very clear sound. Like did you switch to
Is it clear
Wi-Fi?
now?
Well, shit, I just lost audio. Whatever,
Is it
go
clear
ahead.
now?
Yeah, right now it's very good. I just want to say.
Yeah,
You're
so
not using the Bluetooth phones.
Yeah, I'm not using Bluetooth earbuds. So
So good, because before it was like you are in a Pepsi can. I can't even understand you.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, Milton Friedman didn't even believe in patents because he was Milton Friedman was probably as close as you could get to a free market absolutist. I mean, he did have positions where, you know, if the free market basically destroyed or collapsed the state or collapsed the, you know, individual rights, and he wasn't against it, but he practically took free market capitalism and classical liberalism to its the greatest logical extent possible, including foreign labor, no patents, and what is it? Having foreigners move to your country, regardless of ethnic origin, as long as they assimilated and had the same values as everyone else.
Yeah, that's how libertarians work. That's why that crowd likes libertarianism. They do not want countries to have an national identity that could potentially see them as a net power. But in my case, I'm like, well, really, do you need to have economic growth above a certain point? I mean, like, I would say, like 1990s to 2000s Canada, maybe up until 2010, Canada was, I don't think we needed to improve our living standards beyond that. We really hit the peak. At that point, then just maintaining them should be the concern. Like once your only concern is ensuring that people are able to live long lives, like long healthy lives, like every other need has been satisfied, all the infrastructure is put down. People are able to earn decent livings. Food is really cheap. Basically, as long as you're not extremely lazy, you can get whatever you need. At that point, then I don't see a point in continuing to grow. At that point, then you need to have a mechanism. And I'm not saying that growing should never continue or that you should never grow, but there should be a mechanism where you can stop the growth at some point and pause it and just maintain a stable, non-shifting standard of living. And then once for example, if we can get access to Mars to colonize it, then we can start growing again. And we can do free market capitalism on Mars, where there's infinite landmass to expand into.
I mean, I'm more in favor of letting the market grow unfettered by state intervention, because particularly when it comes to medical advancement, if you're not advancing the healthcare system, there are deaths that could have been prevented had you allowed that sector, or there are certain sectors of the economy that could have benefited people's lives if you hadn't stopped the growth.
Yeah, but how much do we need to benefit people's lives beyond that current point, really?
Well, I mean, that's that's very subjective, though. I mean, some people would like to better their lives, but I guess others wouldn't.
Yeah, but the problem is we're reaching a point where we're going to make all human labor redundant, where people aren't going to have anything to do. And because we're doing free market capitalism, that means that
this is not free market capitalism. This is like some crony. This is crony capitalism.
No. I'm not saying. I'm not saying. I'm talking. Listen. Let me finish. You didn't let me finish. I'm not talking about like the system that we have as it exists now. I'm talking about this hypothetical free market that you're talking about. So if we have this hypothetical free market and we reach a point where through AI and automation we make human labor completely redundant, well, all the means of production. I mean, Marx. We could say all these shit about Marx, but he's right about this part. Is that the means of production will be owned privately, and it will basically make humans themselves redundant, other than these people that own these self-reproducing factories that don't need human labor. At that point, then, you either have to nationalize these automated factories, let's say, and make them a nationally owned asset that perhaps capitalists can rent the assets, like the automated factories to produce whatever goods they want, but the actual factories themselves are owned by the state. Or you just let them do what they're doing, and people will just starve to death because there's going to be no, and you're going to have to have a police state to kill off these starving beggars who are now completely redundant in the economy because their labor is no longer needed. This is what it comes down to. So, how do you want to do this?
But how do you know that's going to be the conclusion?
Well, I don't know it's going to be the conclusion. It might not be, but what if it is? I can tell you that the Elon Musks of the world, the Jeff Bezos of the world, are perfectly happy with that condition. And what are you going to do if we end up there? Because we're reaching a point where it's going to be impossible to overthrow the government or overthrow the current system. Because just for YouTube, I'm not saying we should do that. I'm saying that it would be impossible to do that if someone wanted to, because of the development of technology. Because we're going to have like these kill bots, basically, that will make it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
they are.
Andrews. Oh, I hope they. Oh no, she didn't die. Okay.
I was going to say similar arguments were made during the Industrial Revolution about the assembly line and other automating technologies that made production more efficient.
Well, it was correct. I mean, we just massively expanded services as a. And the thing is that the state also intervened in that regard. Like this is during industrialization. There was also a huge backlash against the 19th century, early 20th century working conditions.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, people didn't want to. A lot of people.
concessions.
Yeah, there's been concessions. A lot of people didn't want to move from the farms to the factories.
Yeah, and the farms were made redundant because these people could, if you used a mechanized farm, you didn't need to. You were much more efficient, so the non-mechanized farms were just not able to compete with the collapsing price of food.
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, and the thing is that
that's a net loss or a net benefit, though.
Well, they were able to find other uses for that labor, but the problem is we're no longer at that point. Like we created new industries that labor could enter into, along with manufacturing, like a lot of different service sector stuff. What service sector stuff is left once you have AI that can automate almost everything that a human could possibly do?
Well, I guess you could have a more
any creative goods, whatever. At that point, then you've lost the economy of need. There's no economy of need for that. There would then be an economy of maybe like boutique stuff, or for example, people will buy Amish handcrafted furniture because they like it. It's like but that's not an essential thing. So at that point, then, and you would have to be relying on the people that control the capital to buy into that economy. So you would basically be dependent on the whimsy of whoever owns the means of production. That would basically be the economy, because all the essentials would be automated at that point.
Yeah, extravagant purchases of the ultra wealthy would be the new labor market.
Yeah. Now there were technologies that suddenly made a whole bunch of different things possible that weren't possible before. That is true. And that helped keep things from centralizing too much. But even then, I mean, we can actually see what has changed now compared to the past. We cannot. Here's something to consider. We cannot create new cities anymore. Do you know why?
Because of zoning laws?
No, because wealth is now, because of the internet, because of technology, wealth is now completely centralized in countries that don't control size and scale of businesses and the ability of businesses to centralize. That every business is headquartered in one of maybe a couple cities in the country, and because there's an efficiency benefit to headquartering yourself in a financial capital as a big business. And as these businesses expand and get larger, and they're able to outcompete smaller businesses due to their economy of scale. Like Walmart is able to outcompete its competitors because it can purchase exclusivity deals with suppliers that are, because of the enormous scale that Walmart purchases things from these suppliers, they can get extremely cheap deals. Like the margins can be way cheaper, and that gives them a massive competitive advantage. And so you end up just with a centralization, and they headquarters and centralize their wealth into maybe a couple cities. And so you have in the US, there's like a handful of cities, maybe 10 cities, where all the wealth is concentrated. And if you look at how the concentration is, it's like lopsided. It's like the first city has maybe the first two cities have like the lion's share of the wealth, and then the next city down has like half the wealth of the first two cities, and then the next city has like maybe an eighth of that wealth. You know what I mean? Like you just end up with this massive concentration. So what do you do at that point? I mean, there are ways that you can intervene in the economy there. For example,
I wouldn't intervene though, because as long as they can't keep competitors out, I'm fine with them having large economies of scale and pricing out mom and pop stores.
well, yeah, but then what happens is you have the economy centralized into one location, and the entire country becomes a wasteland, except for this capital center, which then becomes enormously expensive to live in, and dominated by these financial elites that are disconnected from the rest of the country. So it's actually better to have a less efficient system. Like the way I would do it is I would set it up so that you cannot. I would artificially limit the scale at which these businesses can grow, and I would cut off regions of my country to have internal economies that are internally supplied, and in order to spread out the wealth into several cities throughout the country instead of having them concentrated into a handful of cities on like the east and west coast, which is what you see in the U.S. Like that's how I would. Yes, it would be less efficient.
Yeah, it would be less efficient, but I'll concede that there would probably be a lot of people that would prefer this system. I think we've talked about this before, but I've advocated for free trade zones where, if people want to compete in that type of environment, they're allowed to, but have it somewhat separate from the rest of the nation as a whole. Like kind of like a special, like a special administrative region, like Macau or what Hong Kong used to be.
Because otherwise you just have a country that's dominated by this handful of regions, and the entire countryside just becomes this increasingly poor, increasingly wretched wasteland, just full of drugs and full of misery.
Yeah. I would say, because you're ultimately, I think a lot of people would be happy with your system, but you're going to have a large minority of people who don't want to live that kind of lifestyle and are okay with the capital accumulation game where they work 90 hours.
You know what I'm gonna say now, right? Like, you know what my solution would be for those people, right?
What?
Well, I'm a big fan of Stalin, and I'm a big fan of Mustache Man when it came to this stuff. You throw these people in gulags.
But here's the thing.
Look, I'm not making any bones about it. I am 100% totalitarian. I am a totalitarian. Like, I would support a government that could just throw people in gulags.
If they want to work on their own free will and they're providing a valuable service, why not let them?
Because they're contradicting the interests of the state. At that point, then the state should just.
They're contradicting what?
That's how I would do it. They're contradicting the interests of the state. Like, if I'm running the state,
so they're
I'm planning this out. Yeah, but who cares? I mean, my position would be, hey, this is how we're planning. This is how we're planning the economy. We're going to centralize. We're gonna decentralize the economy into these zones. If you don't like this, if you don't like the limitations that we're putting on you, you can leave. And if you try and stir up shit in the country, we're just going to put a bullet in your head. Like, that's how I would do it.
Yeah. So are you not concerned with capital flight?
No, because if we're talking about a country the size of the U.S., let's say, or like the U.S. combined with Canada, look, all the billionaires can fuck off if they want, because that country is so enormous in terms of its scale of potential economy, in terms of its wealth, its natural wealth, just the extremely strategic position it has, that I can find, and among the population there, the hundreds of millions of people that live there, I can find more than enough intelligent and ambitious people who agree with my point of view and want to live under a system like what I describe, even with its limitations. Because I'm not coming at this from a Marxist point of view, where we have to abolish private property. I would say to someone like Elon Musk, here's my offer. Okay? we're gonna allow you guys to have as much money as you want. We're not gonna hunt you down and steal your money. But what we are going to do is we are going to have these limitations on how you can do business. And this is for the good of the nation. We don't hate commerce. We don't hate people making money and doing business, but we're going to put external limits on the business the same way that you have guardrails around a cliff so that people don't fall off the cliff. Okay? And if you have a problem with that, then you can just leave. And if Elon Musk decides to try and stir up shit by starting political parties or whatever, I would be like, okay, it's time to pull a Jack Ma on this guy and make him disappear, and then he can reappear and praise the regime. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, but he could also leave too.
Well, yeah, that's fine. He can just get out.
I mean, yeah, but he's going to take all of his assets with him and all of the jobs that he created.
Well, so what? It's not like Elon Musk is this irreplaceable genius. And he's honestly
you're gonna need some sort of system. No, he's not. I would say Elon Musk, for the most part, is a hype man at best. He didn't really create anything. He got lucky throughout most of his life. That's why he's super rich. But
well, he was born rich. I mean, that's really what most of these guys.
Yeah, he was born rich.
He's born rich. Now you also have to have the ability, of course. But you need to primarily
have a certain IQ.
Resources. Yeah, you need to have the resources to take advantage of those traits or of those opportunities. But there are plenty of people that are just as intelligent, that are just as ambitious and intelligent and have vision as Elon Musk when it comes to these things. That and they would be perfectly happy because they are patriots and nationalists who want to live in a nation that is happy and developed, like equally developed, instead of just being lopsided financial zones. There would be more than enough to replace them in the hundreds of millions of people. Because you're talking about people that you're talking about these oligarchs that are only interested in making money. And I'm like, well, who gives a shit about people? Let's just get rid of them. Like George Soros, for example, completely annihilating Asia with him bombing the yen. I think it was in the 80s when there was the Asian financial crisis. Was it 80s or 90s? I think it was the 80s. It was George Soros that actually started off that financial crisis. He nuked the yen. These people should be hanged and like thrown in a compost heap afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've made it clear. I'm not a liberal by any means. I don't even mean a liberal as.
I do have a.
I'm not a.
Well,
I'm not a woke liberal.
I wouldn't even
literally
classify myself as a liberal either.
Well, no, you are liberal. I mean, you're liberal in the sense that you believe in liberal rights. I don't believe in liberal rights.
I believe the economy is there to serve the nation. So I believe the national identity should be preserved first, but I'm much closer to economic liberalism than I am to you. Yeah. Or what your position.
Well, you know what's ironic is that
I do see the pitfalls. I do see the pitfalls in free market absolutism, like what Milton Friedman advocated for. It can totally fractionate the nation and the cultural identity, but I just don't see I don't see heavy state ownership of the means of production to be a viable solution.
Well, I would only say that's a solution when everything is automated and self-running. At that point, then it's like, well, you have to do something with it because the alternative is everyone starves, but the people that own own the automated factories. So, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't benefit them either, because then they run out of people to do commerce with, because no one else has money. Like I remember when I was a kid and I went to summer camp, I played this this economy game. I forget exactly how I set it up. I didn't realize it was an economy game at the time, but I had sort of invented on the fly this economy game that was involving trading flat rocks. And I eventually ended up with all the flat rocks somehow. I managed to outsmart all the other kids in the economy game that I invented. So of course I outsmarted them, right? Because I was the one who came up with the rules. But yeah, and then eventually, once I got all of the rocks, no one wanted to play with me anymore. They all just did something else. And it's like, yeah, because once nobody has anything left to play with, like once only one person or a handful of people have the money, that's it. You know, there's no more commerce.
I mean, wouldn't new jobs be? Because even if all of it's not nationalized but centralized, I don't think there would just be no jobs.
What jobs would be left? Like, what careers would be left at that point? You might end up with.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think any. Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone could have predicted in the 1700s and 1800s the internet, video games, studio production, video production. So I can't really tell you what jobs are going to exist 50 years in the future or 100 years in the future, because I'm not a fortune teller.
Yeah, but it's also the entertainment sector is not an essential sector. Like if we're talking about essential, it would be food, housing, medicine, defense,
Consumer
obviously
staples.
defense for the sake of so that you can defend your borders, of course, so you don't get conquered. But those are really the basics, and those are the essentials. Now, and like whatever manufactured goods you need to maintain a competitive edge against the enemy. But if you make it so that manufacturing isn't necessary anymore, I mean, this is where we're at now in the U.S. I mean, the U.S. I think is like only 10% of the U.S. economy is manufacturing, and 90% of it is servicing the financial sector. It's either the financial sector or servicing the wealth that's been acquired by the financial sector. Once they, and yeah, so there are things that they want people to do, like for example, serving them coffees, stuff like that. Like those stores, like coffee shops and whatever, and other conveniences. They'll exist as long as they can't get machines to do it for them. But I mean, iron law of competition. When you're just eventually, it becomes cheaper to use robots, or it becomes cheaper to use AI. They're going to do it. And if they can get the same service or pretty close to the same service for much cheaper, that's just how it's going to be. And then you got to find some other service for these humans to do. You got to figure out, well, what can a human do that an AI or an automated labor robot couldn't do? And what's left? Maybe there's some trades, but you can't sustain the entire country on that.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what jobs are going to exist in the future in this proto post-scarcity world. But I don't think the state needs to nationalize those industries in order for it to function. And then
maybe they don't have to.
Here's
maybe
the thing too. Yeah, I mean, there could be an alternative, but I was also thinking that, let's say within your own borders, you've fully automated your manufacturing sectors. I mean, there would still be other countries that would probably be less developed compared to yours, and your citizens could develop those regions and then bring their money back to the nation. I mean, that's another possibility. Basically, colonization, but
Yeah, so
I
basically,
don't know.
because you've made it impossible to survive economically in your country, you have to.
They got to move out.
Yeah, the normies have to leave. I thought about that too as a potential outcome, and it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, the
Uh,
people that can't. Yeah, the people that can't hack it into your proto post scarcity economy would just leave elsewhere and develop underdeveloped countries.
Yeah, but then
Basically,
they're just going to be a
colonization.
burden on. Then they're just going to be a burden on these countries because they're going to compete with the locals for work. It's going to be like that fucking that South Park episode. You remember? Do you see that South Park episode where all the future humans come around and they're undercutting the? It's the they took our gerbs episode.
No, no.
Okay. In South Park, there's it's been years and years since I've seen this episode, but from what I recall, um, there's like a time traveling machine was invented, and these humans from the future go through it. And because of how overpopulated the world is in the future, it's like 200, 300 years in the future. These humans basically come looking for work, and they compete with the local South Parkians for work. Um, and it's mostly making fun of economic protectionist types that want to keep foreign labor out of the economy. Like it was making fun of them at the time. But that's literally what you're saying because that's exactly what would be happening at that point.
Yeah.
Привет, брат. Что скажешь?
See, I don't know what would happen in this scenario because there are probably variables that are being underestimated, but
I mean,
yeah,
why? But why would
but
you? Why would you accept that when we can just nationalize the automated factories and then the capitalists can we'll give an award to the guy who invented the automated factories, the business guys who invented it. Be like, great job, you get an award. But they're going to lose those factories, and then we're going to nationalize them and just own them. And we're not going to attempt to.
well, you're going to
participate
own
in
them as I mean, the state is going to own them, not the people
Yeah.
directly.
Well, yeah, but the state is going to represent the interests of the people. That's the whole point of the state. We're going to do a better job than private industry anyway.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they would.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if you don't have a democratic state, it's going to be in the interest of the non-democratic state to ensure the living standards of their country are best, because that's how their own power is increased and how their own wealth is increased.
Yeah. So basically, Saudi Arabian UBI.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, at that point, you could do it that way.
I mean, your citizens are going
to,
to.
or you could do UBI.
The movie Wall-E. Wall-E.
No, I've heard about it. Isn't that like where all the humans become obese?
Man, that was a great movie. Yeah, so basically they destroyed the Earth because they completely drained it of all of its resources. So all of the humans live on a spaceship now, and because it's a post-scarcity society, they could have anything they want. So they could print burgers at will. They can print TVs at will, and it just takes no effort. So all of the humans just became obese.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have libtard socialism. You end up with you can't let people just do whatever the hell they want. You have to give them a purpose.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the Saudis. I mean, there have been stereotypes about the Saudis being lazy because most of them work in the public sector, and they disdain manual labor because they believe that's for the foreigners to do.
I mean,
The
they're right.
Bangladeshi, Pakistani, and yeah,
I mean,
Indians.
they're right. They're right in a literal sense. That is exactly what the foreigners do. I mean, it's true. It's not like a. Like what are you supposed to say? I mean, that is literally how they live. The foreigners run everything. That's probably a bad
Yeah, the
idea.
foreigners
I
build
think it's a bad
everything,
idea.
and the Saudis just watch them. This,
The Saudis just hang in their compounds and have babies, and yeah, it works out for them. Though they're in a bit of a different situation because, first of all, they're like a Islamist dictatorship that's like Salafist, or not Salafist, they're Hanbali, but it's not exactly the same. But they're like a heavily religious dictatorship. It's not exactly apples to apples. There's the problem when you have those kind of societies is that and this is also why I'm not a big fan of even though I like the memes, I don't think a Taliban style dictatorship would work where it's like void enslavement, because you just can't run a modern society that way. You need to have access to information. You need to have freedom to act and do things. You can't just enslave women and then deprive them of all communication and literacy. You're not going to have an intelligent population. That works if you're a goat herder.
Yeah,
like this is one of the reasons why the Saudis and these other Arabs are so backwards despite all their wealth.
Yeah, perhaps you're right. Maybe you could just restrict it to the men only, but you do need to have a positive fertility rate. Well, in this situation right now where we have a high median age, I mean, the median age in the West is too freaking high. It's 45. The population pyramid's out of whack.
Yeah, this is why I'm like to the white nationalists in the U.S. I'm like, do you guys realize how fucking bad the situation is? Like, this isn't even like, okay, there's a lot of European countries that are really fucked like this too, but they're smaller countries, right? The U.S. is like, if you were to kick out all the Hispanics, who's going to replace them in the younger population pool? Like, are you gonna try and find these people from Europe? Because they're not coming from Europe. Like,
Yeah,
Europe has its own
yeah, that's the thing. You don't have any labor to draw from except for these other countries. And the only reason why we're drawing them from those countries is because they have a lower median age, in spite of the fact that Latin America is also experiencing some replacement fertility rates. They still have a lot of young people.
Well, their replacement rates have only dipped below replacement recently, the last couple of years, for the most part. I think Brazil was a little earlier.
It's going to hit them hard, though. It's going to hit them hard eventually.
Well, the thing is, people don't realize South America is actually quite underpopulated for the size of the continent. They have a lot of room to grow. It's mostly their population and the governments that they have that are kind of shit. But they have resources.
Yeah, you basically have to bribe people to do business then.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a messy situation.
They could do what they were doing in like the 19th and early 20th century, where they were just importing white people. that was their literal stated policy.
They did that in Brazil.
It's called blanqueamento. Basically, bring in these white guys from Europe, and here's a brown woman, and now the offspring are slightly lighter shade of white, and then we'll bring another white in and breed them with the brown person. I mean, it kind of worked. Well, sort of. They didn't have a chance to.
Well,
maybe if they had, maybe if they could have finished it.
Yeah. But, the only problem now is that you don't have any white people to draw from in order to import them into your country. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some white guys, like some young white cells that you could bring in. I don't know if
Yeah,
there's
that's what I was thinking. Maybe some white excess males. I mean,
what's that?
yeah, maybe the white excess males can move to South America. I mean, it's already happening. Or you have a lot of white normies going to South America. Oh,
Yeah,
have you heard of Have you heard of the guy Kurt Kaz on YouTube?
Kurt Kaz. Oh yeah, I've heard of Kurt Kaz.
Yeah, so he's been vagabonding all over South America, getting these beautiful Hispanic women.
Yeah, you'll just
And
have have these chicks walk up and basically, yeah, it's fucking crazy.
here's the thing: I'm not gonna say he's the ugly guy, but he's probably a 6 out of 10 in looks. He's about 6 feet tall.
I just happened to peek at the channel. In a totalitarian system, how would you deal with bad players seizing power and disregarding the common good? That is a good question, and it's always been a problem in monarchies. Like traditional monarchies have always had that issue. But the thing is, the bad players don't last forever. Like you will have to deal with tyranny. Bad players, though, they will eventually get displaced because the interest of the state is to make sure the society is functional. If your society, if your country is being run so badly that it starts becoming a shithole, the state itself suffers from that. Like if China becomes a shithole, the CCP suffers. You know, like the CCP government, they can't go anywhere else. You know, like their entire power center is within China. So if they have a bad leader, they kick them out. Like now, it's not to say that they're perfect. You know, you're never gonna have perfection, but I would say it's still a better system than having a democracy where there's no leaders. Basically, there's no leadership. Like it's all like the leaders just get kicked out or they leave in a rotating basis. So no one actually has authority and no one has responsibility. You know, this is a system you have now. I mean, it's, you know, Trump, as soon as he's done, like he cares about his personal reputation, but as soon as Trump's done his presidency, I mean, he's just going to retire and play golf. You know, like if anyone comes after him, he can just leave for Israel, probably. You know, the private interests that pay him off, like Miriam Adelson, they're the ones that get their agendas done. And it doesn't matter what effect it has on the American state, because the state is like irrelevant to the ruling class in the U.S. You know, they'll just leave, they'll just set up their bank accounts abroad and fuck off. So like these are the only two options you have, pretty much.
Remember that chat I sent you about America being a rotting corpse and vultures are currently scavenging it?
Well, yeah, this is what you have when you have liberalism. You have
liberalism or universal suffrage?
No, it's liberalism. It's because liberalism denies that there's any political, there's any basis to politics, basically. Like in liberalism, the state exists to enforce the laws fairly on everyone. So the state doesn't have an interest in it of itself, and the state doesn't have any agency in liberalism. Well, if that's the case, then
just a referee.
Yeah, if that's the case, then private interests are going to hijack whatever apparatus the state has, and they're going to get their agendas done because the state basically can't pursue its own interests. Like the American state is not able to pursue the interests of the American, like enhancing its own power and its own wealth and its own influence, which is what it would do if it was a proper sovereign state. You know, contrast that to the Israeli state. Like, look at if you want to see a real state, the Israeli state's an example. Like, the Israeli state actively and aggressively pursues its self-interest. It's trying to expand, trying to defeat its enemies, destroy its enemies, and it's using the U.S. like a whore successfully. Well, yeah, a totalitarian system would be right-wing and nationalistic because those are the people that they rely on to defend the state. Like China, for example, China began as this left-wing, insane, like under Mao, it was just complete lunatic state. Eventually, it became centralized, right-wing, authoritarian still, but they opened the markets because they realized that China would just be irrelevant unless it became powerful. And in order to become powerful, it has to have markets that function so that it can develop itself economically. By the way, as a side note, this is how you deal with the woman issue, with women voting, without having to just revoke universal suffrage for them, because that's never going to happen. Like no one's ever going to take women's right away to vote. But if you have a dictatorship, the natural interests of the state will default towards men because men actually have the capacity for collective violence. Men can get together and do violent things. They can also get together and do violent things on behalf of the government, on behalf of the state. And the state understands this. You know, it doesn't mean, and now I'm not saying that the state in this scenario actually cares or whatever. It's not really whether it cares or not, and whether the people in charge of the government are deeply concerned about the young men of their country. But they just realize that that's who they rely on to protect their borders, defend their borders, and also expand the state. It's like the U.S. government can't fight wars anymore because no one wants to fucking die for the U.S. government. You know, they just have mercenaries in the army. People go in the army for a job.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. I wanted to talk about Kurt Kaz because he made a video where he was drunk and he took the video down, but basically it was him getting mad at the fact that more passport bros were coming into Colombia and South America in general, and he totally spazzed out because he said, well, he basically said his inner thoughts. He just said he didn't like the competition or the increased pressure.
Yeah, exactly. It's like shit.
He's like, guys, stop coming to Colombia. He was drunk, and he took the video down. You can still find it though, but yeah, he got mad and he said, guys, stop. He said, stop coming to freaking Colombia. Stop coming to Venezuela. He's like, I don't want you here.
Yeah. He's like, fuck.
I thought it was
these guys. I don't know what he was expecting. He made videos where he would just walk around, and chicks would walk up and like drag him off to their village or something. Like, what did you expect would happen?
Well,
he made videos.
As soon as he made those videos, he should have suspected that other people would follow suit.
Yeah, it's like when I saw his videos on Latin America, I was like, holy shit, I gotta get into this. I mean, I know that I'm no Kurt Kaz, but you know, if he's getting that kind of response, maybe I could get something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, he has gotten some beautiful women. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing with being a, slightly above average white guy in a lot of these ethnic countries is that you can essentially push far above your weight and actually score a very beautiful woman that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get in your home country.
Yeah, exactly.
Because here's the thing, even in America, if he went for a Hispanic American woman, it wouldn't have the same effect because a Hispanic American woman can go after other white guys who are of higher caliber. But if you're going directly to these South American countries, these women don't have that option because they're sort of stuck there. So they can only pick from what their choices are at the immediate moment. That's why,
Yeah.
yeah, even like here in the States, here's the thing. Even Asian women have raised their standards for white men. I mean, it was kind of a meme.
Yeah, it's brutal. No more rice boys for us.
Yeah,
Over.
here in America, the whole idea that you could be this 4 out of 10 goofy doofy and get a 7 out of 10 Asian woman is pretty much dead because Asian women know their value in the West now, and I'm talking about Asian American or even Asian immigrant women. But if you go directly to China or the Philippines or Cambodia or Vietnam, then the women there don't have that type of leverage.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go to
Yeah,
Cambodia. It's kind of on the unstable side of things, I imagine. I mean, they would just
yeah,
have
it really it's a dictatorship. I mean, if you say anything against the king, you're getting life in prison.
Isn't that the same in Cambodia or Thailand? Pretty sure Thailand's similar.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think Thailand's like that as well. I mean, I wouldn't go to Thailand or Cambodia right now because of the war. I don't know what's gonna happen.
No,
So,
bro, it's already over. You didn't you
it
get the
is.
memo? Yeah, didn't you get the memo? Quoting that movie, Office Space. Yeah. And I
Oh,
already
they ended
said,
the war already.
of course, and I predicted this 2 days ago on Mercer live stream. I said it's gonna be wrapped up fast, and it's exactly like that.
Yeah, there's a ceasefire.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't really think. Yeah, they definitely don't want a war. I mean, it all started over a border skirmish.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they went out like a full continental war or a full land war, that would affect the tourism industry. They would lose a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true. I was dubious of it as well.
Yeah, because if they really went to war and they started bombing each other, all of the tourists would just leave, and then you would have all of that capital. I mean, it wouldn't be great. I mean, you would have a bunch of destroyed buildings, and a lot of people would lose their jobs in both countries.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it would be a good thing because it would, it would clear out a lot of excess dudes. Well, I guess they don't really have that problem anymore because they have so many lady boys and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. If they really went to war, it would kill off a lot of the men. Or at least, maybe not millions of them, but maybe, 100,000, 200,000. And it would make it easier for expats.
That's brutal, right? That's why I wonder. Like, I think Latin America will probably be a little safer in the
Есть
sense
базар,
that
толкай.
safe from government response. But I do think Southeast Asia, at some point at least, some of these governments are going to be like, these guys are really fucking over our local men. Like, let's just kick them out.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing. I've talked to a lot of Southeast Asians, and a lot of them don't like the fact that white foreigners are taking their women.
Yeah, of course not.
I mean,
Why
South
would they
Americans are
not? Why
mad
would
too.
they be fine with that? I wouldn't be fine.
Yeah, South Americans are, a little disgruntled, but it's nothing like what the Southeast Asians are feeling right now.
Yeah, because South America
You know what
has
it
their
is?
issues.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about South America, though. I mean, they kind of hate white people, but at the same time, they want to be closer to white people genetically. So
Yeah, I mean, there's white people have been in their countries since the beginning.
yeah, I mean, they have that whole concept of improving the race in Spanish, where just keep intermarrying with white people. So yeah, I mean, they're kind of mad about it, but at the same time, they're not mad about it because they want to improve the race. But in Southeast Asia, they don't have a concept of improving the race. Maybe except for Southeast Asian women who are appreciative of these white foreigners, but I know Southeast Asian men are not about white foreigners coming in.
Yeah, hell no. I mean, it's as I said, I'm surprised they haven't done something with it yet. And I think at some point they
Yeah,
will, because it's going to become an unrest problem, especially as their demographics get worse and worse. Though, I mean, then again, Thailand is an example of a country whose demographics are actually really bad for the men, but at the same time, they're just sort of like ladyboy maxing, and
yeah.
seems to be that maybe they're just docile enough that they'll tolerate it. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what
else?
happens when the heat wave hits them. When the heat wave hits them, it's going to be a different story.
I was also thinking too, if they keep allowing tourism to flourish, or expatriates to flood into their country, there's going to be a shift in how their own women will treat them, because they'll see these rich expats as higher status and higher wealth than them. Because eventually, what will happen is that they'll have most of the wealth, and that Southeast Asian men will be forced to work for these not rich expats, but obviously rich compared to them. They'll basically be their servants, and then their own women will see them as inferior. Like, forget the whole fact that they're taller. Like, they have everything as an advantage. They have height. They have relatively superior looks, more wealth, more status, and then all of your men are working for these guys. So who do you think women are going to see as the superior man? The
Yeah,
expats,
I mean,
obviously.
The change,
I mean, the thing is,
because as a
happening to some
tourist,
extent.
as a foreigner, you cannot own nothing in Thailand. Without
Yeah.
Thai citizenship, you are nobody. Just like myself, I am piece of shit.
But I mean, not all Southeast Asian countries are like that. In a lot of Southeast Asian countries, you can own land and you can become a landlord.
I'm not actually sure
yeah,
about that. I'm not sure about that. I'm definitely not in Vietnam, and I'm pretty sure in the Philippines you don't own land either, unless you're a citizen. You can't own land. You can in Latin America. Yeah, the difference between Latin America and Southeast Asia is that Latin America has had whites in it for hundreds of years. I mean, it was founded. Most of their states were founded by whites, white Spaniards.
All right, yeah, you're right.
White.
Hold on a second. What was it?
Yeah.
Cambodia. All right, I was thinking of Cambodia because despite it being a dictatorship.
Oh man, that's brutal. Over for Cambodia, though.
Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. So this I misremembered. So in a lot of these Southeast Asian countries, including Cambodia, you can't directly own the land, but you can basically lease the land for development and construction.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they have. I mean, you can't. So they allow you to develop it, but you don't technically own it. But it's still kind of the same principle because if you're leasing out the land and then you have Filipino workers developing it for you, they're still going to see the foreigners as superior because they're literally working for this rich, tall, blue-eyed, high-status male with money. I mean, why wouldn't a woman think that this man is superior to their own men?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that like the looks do matter, but I think that even applies when looks aren't necessarily top tier, because you're signaling who's actually.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Yeah, I mean,
I
forget
think
the
this
whole
is happening in Western countries too. Eventually, like the immigrants are just going to take
I
over.
mean, even when you take looks out of it, even let's say if I mean this is not true, but let's say for the sake of argument that the foreigners and the native men were equal in looks and height, they would still see the men as superior in terms of status and wealth alone.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
And
that
they're
the
already
looks,
starting to see
yeah,
it happen in Western countries where the immigrants are basically being taken more seriously than the locals. And this is the hidden
yeah,
grammar
it's
to a
just
lot of the conflict that you see between the whites, especially lower class whites and immigrants in
yeah.
places like the UK.
I mean, the thing about height and looks is that it's the cherry on top. It's the icing on top of the cake. It just multiplies the issue even worse.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
It
because
does make it
basically,
worse. Yeah.
yeah, you have a situation where they have more LMS than you.
It's like one of the most brutal countries on earth in this regard is the Philippines. Like their sports teams are half to three quarters Hapas, and of course all the Hapas, literally all the Hapas, are from a flip mother.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of Filipinos don't like this.
And it's brutal. Like how do these guys cope? I don't understand it. Like I would be like, how are you supposed to cheer for your soccer team when it's composed of three quarters Hapas from dudes that are like a foot taller than me?
Yeah, that's
And
what I'm saying.
monkey in every way.
When I
It's
was
so
looking at
fucked
the
up.
yeah, when I was looking at the Filipino soccer team, a lot of them seemed like they're at least 5'10" or taller.
Yeah, and they're mostly Hapas. It's like I remember
Uh,
looking that up, and I was thinking, Jesus Christ! Like, doesn't it? At some point, wouldn't you think there would be like an optical issue there? If you were running the Philippines, like whatever the Philippine version of FIFA is or whatever. I don't really know sports like hockey and soccer, whatever. But whatever version they have of that, wouldn't it occur to somebody that there's an issue when your sports team is comprised of 2/3 Kappas from foreign men? Isn't that like a concerning issue for them? I don't know. Apparently not. Maybe Jungle Rice, they just don't have the same kind of jealousy. Maybe I don't know.
Чем тебе помочь?
I don't know if I told you the story about me going to the hospital after my car accident.
No, I don't think you mentioned that. No.
Yeah, I got into a car accident recently, and when I went there, a large percentage of the nurses were Filipino.
What the fuck? Yeah, they do that. They're like nurses or they're um, PSWs. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were speaking Tagalog to each other. Crazy. I mean, I don't blame them honestly. I don't come here because they can practically make 10 times their wage just by moving to America.
Yeah, and if they can track down a white guy before they, or just any guy before they get here, or get there rather, more or better. Like I remember when I lived in Ottawa, the place I was living in was literally the guy beside me was a boomer who had a Filipino wife, 20 years younger than him. And then the guy living across from me was also a boomer who had a Filipino wife, 20 years younger than him. It's the most bizarre thing. These Filipinos are just boomer crap. Right. PBA is a Filipino basketball league, and they are 90% foreigners, and people still love that shit. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Honestly, to me, it's a choice between the Philippines and Mexico. And a lot of people have told me I look Filipino, but Tagalog is a harder language to learn.
I always associate Filipinos with being pretty brown. Like they don't usually, they don't look like Northeast Asians. Like I would say they're among the most distinctly non-Northeast Asian.
Yeah, but a lot of people have told me I look Filipino. Actually, a lot of people have told me that my mom looks Filipino, even though she's Chinese.
Is she from Southern China?
She's half and half, so she's half Northern Chinese and half Southern Chinese.
Oh, did she take more from the Southern Chinese side in terms of appearance? Or?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, my grandfather is Northern Chinese, and then my grandmother is Southern Chinese.
He geomaxed for Southern China. And geomaxed to.
Well, no. Here's the thing. My grandfather is literally a Chang. In his prime, in his prime he was 6'1".
Oh, geez, that is actually really well. Apparently, Mao was,
as a Chinese man.
Yeah, well, Mao was also tall for his time too. And he wasn't like he was a better off than average villager type, but it's not like he was from a wealthy family. He was just like a better than average villager.
Yeah, my mom inherited. So my mom inherited the height from my grandfather, but she inherited. I would say she also looks like my father too, because my grandfather has a very strong jawline. But she does have southern.
Good. Usually
features.
that's the biggest problem with rice is the EDAR gene tends to reduce chin and jawline.
Yeah, my mom has a strong. She has a strong jaw, and she has a square jaw, and she has very prominent cheekbones.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a little too much on Asians, though it depends.
No, I would say yeah, because sometimes if the cheekbones are too prominent and the jawline is too strong, it makes the woman too masculine looking. But I would say, yeah, my mother has that female model look.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it
I'm not gonna
probably
lie.
means
I
that
mean,
grandpa did well then.
yeah, he did well. I mean, my grandfather's also a smart guy too. He owns three properties, and he used to own a jewelry store business.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? I gotta give him credit. Chinese immigrants that came over during like the Maoist insanity when China was a real shithole. So a lot of them were really grateful for being able to get out. Because I remember my dad, he had a long time business contact and friend who was his name's Wong. I don't even know if he's still alive now, but he owned a Chinese restaurant in Ottawa, and yeah, he did really well too. He got in from, I think he was adopted by another Chinese couple.
Yeah.
It made it in earlier, and then he grew up in Canada, like from I think he was like 6 or 7, and he made it into Canada.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he ended up having 5 kids, and all the kids did well apparently.
I'm good. Yeah, it's yeah, a lot of the Chinese people that, well, in my grandfather's case, he fled after the Great Leap Forward, or not after, yeah, basically during or after the Great Leap Forward. So he knew what it was like to live in abject poverty. But I would say he also benefited from the economic boom in the 60s. Because sorry, I was just leaving my job. I'm not gonna say my grandfather's dumb or that he's not a hard worker, but I would also say that the economic situation was a little bit better in the mid 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, that's true for everyone back then. Like when I think of what my dad and my uncle went through growing up, like the stories that they would tell me about I mean, my father went through extreme poverty when he was a child. Like Canada was extremely fucking poor in the 40s. And it was still kind of bad in the 50s as well. 50s, it was not prosperous in 50s. But the 60s and the 70s, things really began to pick up. And the thing that people don't understand is that it's not just about the economy, like the absolute standard of living that you're at a given time. It's the fact that things are growing and things are expanding, and so that there's this understanding that things are improving. The living standards are going up. It's not just what the living standards are right now, that they're better than they were, say, 10 years ago. It's the fact that it's still going up. It really, I think it has an effect on the entire way that the culture and the society operates, you know? Like if you contrast that to where you know that you're either stagnant or declining, and there's this intense pessimism and there's this caution, and it goes from like an economic thing to almost like a psychological thing. I bet you the Chinese that were growing up in the 80s and 90s period when they started to liberalize the economy and the growth was really accelerating, that must have been a really nice experience. I would have loved to experience that, where you were able to live through a real transformation of your country. I don't know if you've seen any of those before and afters from China, where they'll show like this region in China from 1970, and then they'll do a snapshot of it in 2020, and it's just completely transformed, like completely modernized. It went from like a swampy backwater full of crumbling buildings to a modernized metropolis. It must be an amazing experience growing up with that. Because if you think about it, like we've grown up pretty much only with decline. Things either staying the same or getting worse.
Hey, sorry, I just got picked up by my sister and her boyfriend.
Yeah, no problem. Did you hear any of that, or was I speaking into the void?
I heard some of it.
You know, I was just saying there's probably a psychological impact on economic growth, like actually experiencing real economic growth and development, and the standard of living going up, and people becoming like actual average people becoming noticeably wealthier every year. Like there's people are making more money every year. Things are getting cheaper. There's more, you know, that must actually have a major psychological impact on you. It's not just about like what the standard of living is right now. So this is another thing where I'm like,
it's all relative. This is the reason why I think immigrants work harder than native-born Americans, because it's the relative standard of living bump compared to their home country.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was
Obviously,
thinking.
if you're coming in from the Philippines and you move to America and now you're making 10 times as much, it psychologically motivates you to work even harder because you'll realize how much better it is. Yeah.
And you know, even if you're in an absolute sense, your quality of life is kind of shit compared to the average American, you know that your children are going to have a much, much higher standard of living compared to what you had at their age. And that is a psychological motivation effect where it makes you want to.
Because I've always questioned the narrative that just some immigrants are just naturally harder working. I think, yes, in some cases it is true, but I also think it's because if you're coming from an underdeveloped nation and then you just move to a first world country, the relative standard of living bump is going to give you a lot of drive.
Yeah, this is something I noticed from because when I was making my video on economics, I was talking to an Indian guy that I've been in contact with for a long time during the making of it, just to get some information on living standards in India. And he's in the U.S. right now. He's doing a master's in finance, and he's from a well-to-do family. Like he's considered. He's from a caste called the Reddys. The Reddys are they're a caste in southern India, landowning caste, and they are. He in his own words is in like the top 0.6% of wealth and income in India. And he told me that the standard of living in the US is so absurdly high that he found it baffling that Americans were complaining about making like $600 a month, and he's like, or $600 after taxes and like after bills and stuff, and he's like, $600 in India would be a total, like he couldn't imagine having that kind of monthly disposable income. It just blew his mind. It's like a guy like him, he's gonna hit the US like a fucking storm. He's gonna, because from his perspective, his subjective point of view, quality of life is just vastly superior. And his kids would have a massive increase in living standards. But those kids growing up in the U.S., they're only going to know the U.S. and they're going to be in the same boat the rest of us are in.
Yeah, it's jaw dropping. It's jaw dropping how different the standard of living is in first world countries like America compared to India and the Philippines.
Yeah, compared to third world countries like Canada, India,
Yeah,
Philippines.
I mean, the one
And
caveat.
Australia too. Australia as well. Australia is a third world country.
Yeah, you have a lot of India. Yeah, you have a lot of third world people moving to Australia too because the standard of living is better.
Yeah, New Zealand as well. Yeah, the entire
Of
Anglosphere
course,
just
yeah.
allowed itself to be cheated to death.
So, yeah. Oh, I'm talking to my friends. Yeah, I would say the. Shoot, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I would say the one caveat is that in the next generation, they're probably not going to be as appreciative of the standard of living boost because they don't have a frame of reference.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's appreciative because it's not. It is true in their frame of reference. The living
Well,
standards
for the second
are
generation,
going
not the
down.
first generation.
Yeah, but their living standards are either staying the same or going down in most cases.
Yeah.
So it is, and they because they're now measuring their standard of living by what the average American would measure their standard of living by, and it's going to go down. I knew this chick whose parents were both doctors. She grew up like the upper end of upper middle class. Like the parents were both basically millionaires. And she was like, there was no way that she would ever have a family, pretty much, because her expectations for a man, or her expectations, I shouldn't even say that. I'll be a little more generous to her. Her expectations for the standard of living that she would want to raise her children in would be the same as what she grew up in. And as a consequence, unless you were able to meet the income that her parents were able to bring in, you're basically not qualified.
Yeah, it's a decrease in the standard of living.
Yeah, and it's
I would say
you can say it's unrealistic,
ahead,
but you can kind of understand that point of view. I mean, I now that's extreme on my part, and this is what made me think about it, because I thought of how I'm trying to tell her, because I grew up in a middle class, by Canadian standards, middle class standard of living. I lived in a detached house that my parents owned. My father was the sole breadwinner. I was able to buy video games and play video games. I went to a nice school, that sort of stuff. And it was a nice place to live. I lived in a nice place. But it was like middle class it would be middle class also by American standards too, because the living standards at the time were pretty much the same. Is more or less the same. But I was trying to explain to her, like, the living standards I grew up with, I thought they were perfectly fine. You know, like I thought, why do you really need more than that? Like there's always good food. You know, you can get video games and stuff if you want to go to like a camp or something, or have like a hobby or a club.
Yeah.
There's always money for that sort of stuff. You know, I had a backyard. My family owned cottages that we would go to every summer. My grandmother's place was a little further out, and she had a huge backyard that was like an acre long, acre wide, square acre.
It was essentially the American dream.
Yeah, but by her standards, because she was used to living in California, like in basically a multimillionaire lifestyle, that was seen as a downgrade. And it's like it doesn't, and you can't really explain it rationally to them. You can't make a rational argument, because it's like an intuitive emotional feeling that they get.
Yeah, it's more of a emotional or subconscious feeling.
Yeah, well, it's a feeling of because they know what their experiences were as children, and then they're comparing what they're providing their children, and they feel this sense of shame, like this sense of like failure. You know, that I have not been able to provide my children the same living standards that my parents provided me.
Mm.
You know, it's and that's understandable. I mean, it's look, it's one of those things. It's like a fallacy in the sense that kind of makes me think of the sunk cost
Not to
fallacy.
cut you off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm approaching my house soon, but we'll be able to talk tomorrow because I won't be working.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'll see you later, Mercer.
Yeah, see you later.
I'll wrap it up in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we just hijacked your stream, Eddie. I hope that's okay.
No, at least I have some background chatter to listen to. Yeah, this
True.
new Stalker is crashing for me too often. I'm not gonna mess with it anymore today.
No? Was it worth it? Or was it just not? No
It's
good?
very customized. It's like modded anomaly. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, my computer is old. Whatever.
No, it's over for old computer cells.
Yeah, next year I'm gonna look up some better replacement parts or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you're gonna release the video in like 10 hours, I think.
Yeah, I've got it scheduled. I made a modification to it and then I re-uploaded. But yeah, it's still set on the schedule.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Should be good, though. It's kind of specific. It's not really introducing anything too new.
Of
Mostly
course.
just responding to Tails' arguments. So I'm just sick of hearing the TradCon LARP, where it's if we just have traditional values, which will impose somehow, through some way that I haven't explained, women will just magically assent to having their freedoms limited and being forced to tolerate normal guys. Like, no, that's not going to happen. There's no reason for them to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, every time I mention Geomax, I will have two types of inkwells coming at me. One type will totally agree and tell me they are geomaxing themselves and it works, and the other type is gonna be, oh, you filthy race mixer, why don't you want to fix the West? Let's get together, start some party, political party, let's fix the thing, let's change something. Oh my god, when I hear this bullshit, let's change something here back home, when it's unfixable, unchangeable, unstoppable. You can't change. You can't make, you can't stop the river from floating, basically. What are they thinking? Like, right?
Well, yeah, but in my mind, these guys are asking the wrong people. Like, if I was doing this, if I was trying to save the West or whatever, I would be trying to appeal to people that have skin in the game. That have families.
I give you another example. Every week I came across some YouTube channel, and there is some kind of chadlet, like literally a chadlight Westerner complaining about zero dating, and literally in the comment section somebody always mentioned Geomax. Not even me. Literally other people are suggesting geomaxing to this. And then I read comments further, and of course the chatlight gets super dismissive about geomax. I'm not gonna go anywhere, I'm not moving. I will not go anywhere, why should I move? I'm not gonna relocate, I'm not leaving, blah 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 blah. They are insisting, the stubbornness is insane, they are insisting they must have white girl in their vicinity. But it's not negotiable. Whatever, they have a long way to go, whatever. Why should I worry about some...
They're fine. Like, if they want to do it that
people,
way, then
it's like Ayabo said, you should worry about your own self-interest, not about your peers, yeah? So, I don't know. What are you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I pretty much agree, though. Like, it doesn't make sense to me either. They should get together with because there's a certain kind of ethnic that is just obsessed with white women, and the reason why he's in our circles, and I'm not pointing at anyone specifically, but there are some like this, that
Yeah,
because
this
they
is
only want
weird.
white
It's,
women.
whitoids are overrated. It's not. Only
Yeah,
trouble
but it's
comes
because
out
they
of
only
it.
want white women. They refuse to. They want to just rot on Discord and cope, and it's like I don't understand it. But they're incapable of desiring any other group of women. I just find it
And
bizarre. Maybe it's because I grew up with white
the
women. I
sad
don't
part
really care.
is sometimes they are from very rich background and yet they are super stubborn and dismissive and are refusing to relocate, which is the only solution, by the way. Sad, sad, sad. On the other hand, you have Medican who is totally broke, and I wish I can live in Asia, but I can't because of economic reasons. The fucking contrast is insane, bro.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah,
I mean, I'm in the same boat.
I'm gonna wrap up this stream, but we can hang out here in VC.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just gonna send like 5 people to the streets to inhale copium. And yeah, if people want to talk, join the Discord, and we have memes and noodles, yes, and bongs and weed and tits. All right, that's that. You somebody boys.
Yeah, see you
Mercer,
later.
any last message, Mercer, for the masses?
No, that's about it. I mean, I don't have anything else to add either. We'll see you guys in the next streams.
Yeah, subscribe to Mercer also. Next live stream on Mercer channel should be on Saturday, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.